Did you notice something? Come on, I'll give you a second. All right, so we have a spore mine clip here where we see a spore mine spawn out of nowhere. It definitely spawns out of nowhere. And the thing here is, it happens in an area that I'm pretty sure they spent a little bit of time patching to make sure spore mines couldn't spawn in this area. But I think it was like a couple patches ago, so I'm not surprised people don't really remember that. I could be wrong. I could just be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to have spore mines spawn in this area. And not to mention, throughout this game's lifespan, we've always heard reports of, players running into spore mines seemingly out of nowhere. We actually used to break down spore mine clips to see where they came from and, if they actually did, spawn out of nowhere. Most of the times, you can see them coming. I would actually go as far as to say, 99% of the time. However, this is definitely one of those moments where, yeah, they spawn out of nowhere. Not only do they spawn out of nowhere, I just want to reiterate, I really don't think they're supposed to spawn here at all. Because, yeah, that's the fact that they can just spawn out of nowhere in a fight like this can definitely be very problematic. And also, I have seen a couple of you guys mention that you wanted me to actually make a video on this clip. So I definitely thought it was a good opportunity to circle back. I know we are, we're kind of just outside of a patch right now. We are gearing up, we're leveling up, we're grinding. We're actually running into a lot of spore mines, it seems, because I have been talking about a lot of spore mines. So I'm not surprised we're seeing more reports of, spore mine issues, because there's probably a lot more players jumping into higher difficulties now, which is nice. But still, what isn't nice is getting punished for seemingly no reason. Okay, but yeah, let's jump into the clip here. This is a spore mine actually spawning out of nowhere. All right, so we have a Hive Tyrant fight here. We have a bulwark, which is nice to see. This Hive Tyrant is kind of low. I think this is phase 1. And yeah, those are spore mines spawning out of nowhere. And not to mention, even keep an eye on this one. Look at that. Dude, that is insane. That is very unacceptable. This is a Hive Tyrant fight where you are dodging out of the way of the Hive Tyrant and then spore mines just pop up. Come on, guys. Also, by the way, yes, this is the Hive Tyrant fight, obviously, and I'm almost 75% sure, maybe 90% sure. I don't know. Don't read too far into my measurement there. But ultimately, I'm pretty sure that spore mines aren't supposed to spawn here. Honestly, I'm pretty sure there's a patch for this that, yeah, there's no way they are supposed to spawn like that. Honestly, if this was intended, then they have to take it out of the game. Look at these spore mines. That's a lot. That's a lot of spore mines. Also, the reason why I think this is a bug as well is because these spore mines, they definitely took the spawns of the gaunts that would have been here, because as you can see, there's no majors, there's no mobs here. It's just the spore mines coming out of nowhere. Now, they could have got rid of the gaunts, but I don't see any gaunts on the ground or anything, so not 100% sure if I'm correct with this, but I do think the spore mines took these, basically replaced the gaunts. So the spore mines replacing the mobs definitely kind of, I guess, put them in this situation where they just legit spawn out of nowhere. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you actually remember them patching spore mines for this area, but they're gonna have to do it again, probably. This is something that actually happened to me before, but I never seen the clip actually have this spore mine spawn out of nowhere. I've never, actually witnessed that. Whenever the spore mines, spawn in during the Hive Tyrant, which happened, I believe, once to me, I'm either normally fighting the Hive Tyrant or finding resources, so I'm kind of just, looking around. This is a perfect clip, dude. Very, very good clip to Octi here, it seems like, and I will say, the fact that they were able to focus in on this Hive Tyrant definitely allowed us to get this clip of the, basically focusing in on a spore mine spawning out of nowhere. Yeah, devs, oh man, I watched this clip actually a couple days ago, and now that I'm actually breaking it down and taking my time to notice all of the details, for example, yeah, the gaunt's not spawning, and basically the fighting patterns of the Hive Tyrant, and essentially putting you in the way of these spore mines. So even if you dodge the Hive Tyrant, you're gonna dodge right into a spore mine. Also, yes, that's the assault player. Oh, luckily to that assault player, they had a stim, but then they got hit by another spore mine, which absolutely obliterated their health. So Yeah, and Spore Mines, yeah, they're still doing... Oh, wow, they have a Guardian Relic. Okay, good for this player. But yeah, Spore Mines still do an insane amount of damage. Like, look, I understand Spore Mines should be a threat. Maybe just buff their build-up for the toxic effect or something. I still want to see them do damage, obviously, because they are Spore Mines. But, like, the Hive Tyrant. The Hive Tyrant, if the Hive Tyrant hit this Assault player, what do you think is going to do more damage? The Hive Tyrant or the Spore Mines? Because, yeah, these Spore Mines, oh, man, I'm surprised he's not dead here, actually. He does get the heal, and then he goes down. Oh, man. I will say that Assault player was kind of dancing with the Hive Tyrant there. I think this team is actually a good team, and they did not deserve these Spore Mines to potentially ruin this Hive Tyrant fight. But yeah, okay, I'm going to jump into some reactions about this. We talked about Spore Mines quite a bit, so I'm not really expecting anything new. But hey, maybe somebody remembers the Spore Mine patch for the Hive Tyrant. They're definitely not supposed to do this. If they are coded to do this, they need to take this out, because this is horrible. This is horrible. This run could have potentially just went all the way down the drain just because of some Spore Mines that 100% spawn out of nowhere. Look at that. Like, he's dodging around Spore Mines and the Hive Tyrant. Terrible. Terrible. I don't think Spore Mines should be able to spawn in the Hive Tyrant arena at all. You've already got the Tyrant going berserk. We don't need 30 nukes spawning and going off in our faces. Now, man, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be the case that you know, I'm almost 100% sure we had Spore Mines spawn in the Hive Tyrant before, but it was like patched. It wasn't supposed to be something that reoccurs or anything like that. Because yeah, from what we just saw, it literally spawns out of nowhere, and that is not, you know, that is not the spot you want your Hive Tyrant boss fight to be in. The Hive Tyrant's a very fun fight. I don't have an issue with the mobs coming in. Sometimes they can catch your team off guard, but when you notice these Spore Mines just really spawn in out of nowhere as you're circling around the Hive Tyrant to dodge them, like, that is definitely not intended. You cannot tell me the Hive Tyrant should be surrounded by Spore Mines. That does not track for me. Okay, they are popping from nowhere. Soon as you're not aiming, they pop even more. My 2 cents. First, you do good dodges. Okay, so yeah, I was a little confused why this comment had downvotes, and I'm starting to understand why people downvoted this comment. However, I do find it hilarious that this guy is taking this at face value and to see actually how good these players were doing, even with a bug like, you know, Spore Mines coming out of nowhere. Yeah, instant spawning Spore Mines. It's terrible. Anyway, I think this comment is funny because he does take it at face value. So hey, you know what? Let's see how good these players dealt with this situation. First, you do good dodges. Assault had some Spore Mines popping right on him, unfortunately. He had to use 2 stim packs. Yeah, he had a Guardian Relic too, so he might have just been able to go down with the Guardian Relic and then use a stim pack. Either way, it works out. But you lost only 2 segments of armor and find an armor boost. Those 3 last spores could have done more to hurt you. Good shots reflex you had. Oh yeah, I mean, I guess the difficulty doesn't really matter here for the most part, but still, the horrifying clip. Crack grenade exploded on a Hive Tyrant right knee. Cool. Wow. His life is about less than a quarter. Well, no, that was probably phase 1. I think that was phase 1. You are really smashing him, brother, right now. So AI director send a wave, but not minors, and then, oh, that's why he's getting downvoted, because he's taking it at face value, which I find funny, but he's not like confirming that he thinks this is a bug. He thinks this is like intended. Dude, okay, you know what? Actually, I can't even say if I can confirm this is a bug or intended or not. Like, I honestly don't really know, but I will say I'm 99% sure this is unintended. This is definitely a bug and should be fixed. But with the Spore Mines and the Vine Mines, there's just been so much randomness happening to the game right now. I'm not surprised we're kind of losing track on, you know, what's intended or not. But okay, let's continue this pretty funny comment. You are really smashing him, brother, right now. So the AI director sent a wave, but not Minorus, and the 2 traditional majors with him. It's just RNG, I think. And normally those Spore Mines should come from far away on your left with more times to kill them. Okay, well, that's actually interesting because, yeah, I would think the same thing, right? If they didn't spawn that way, does that confirm that it's a bug? You know, because if it was intended, they likely would have spawned that way. That's actually a good point. This guy's getting downvoted, which it's fine. I think the comment's kind of funny, but he does like make a good point about the Spore Mine spawns. They're not even spawning like traditionally from the spawns from the gaunts. You know, they're just appearing. So I guess the fact that they are appearing definitely means it's some sort of bug. 100%. Yeah, devs, please fix this. This is something pretty wild. I have been fighting a lot of Trigon Prime, so I'm not that concerned ultimately about Spore Mines and the Hive Tyrant. And I also just want to reiterate the fact that the Spore Mines did take the spawn places of the Gaunts and the Majors. So if you see any Gaunts or Majors, you should be able to breathe and not expect any Spore Mines. However, I'm definitely going to need some help from you guys in the comments about that. Let me know if this is something that you ran into recently, as far as, you know, Spore Mines against the Hive Tyrant. I might jump into an operation and see if I can get, you know, Spore Mines in that boss fight, you know, recreate that situation a little bit. But, you know, for the most part, Spore Mines definitely need a little bit of a patch. Oh man, I really hope we don't see any more problematic Spore Mine situations. For now on, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for Spore Mines in the Hive Tyrant fight. Hopefully this does not happen again, or hopefully this does not happen to you guys at all. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you ran into this, and thanks for watching.